Hey everybody, Ryan here at eTrailer. Today on our 2021 Kia Telluride, we're going to be showing you how to install the Curt 7-way vehicle wiring harness. But before we do that, why don't we just kind of check this out and make sure it's going to work for you. We get quite a few of these Tellurides in the shop here at eTrailer, and people do a lot of stuff with them, and that includes towing some pretty big trailers around. And if that's what you plan on doing, chances are really good that trailer is going to have a 7-way type connector. And so what this is going to allow you to do is plug your trailer in and power up all the lights and everything else. One of the cool things about this setup is it utilizes the factory tow package plug. And just because your Kia doesn't come equipped with a trailer hitch right from the factory or anything, doesn't mean that you're not going to have that plug. Matter of fact, I think every single one of these that I've seen personally has had the plug, and it's super, if you're unsure, it's super easy to check. There's a panel on the bottom here. You can just pop that down and look, and we'll show you that during the installation. But it makes it super convenient because everything's there for you. This thing just plugs right in and gives you all of those signals that you need, which leads me to my next point. This is also going to allow you to use a trailer brake controller, and that's actually exactly what our neighbor's doing here today. So you have this plugged in, there's an adapter plug that you can get for under the dash that plugs in, and you can hook up your trailer brake controller. So it's really streamlined and straightforward. One of the things that quite a few people ask about is also a 4-way flat type trailer connector plug, right? Because this is your 7-way. And maybe you have another trailer that's smaller and has the 4-way flat type wiring. How are you able to pull both trailers, right, with this one connector plug? And what you can always do is get a 7-to-4 adapter that plugs into here, allows you to plug in the smaller trailer wiring. Or you can get ones that kind of tee into the back of the connector, and you can have it permanently mounted up here. So there's a couple different ways about that to get it done, but it's definitely possible and pretty easy to figure out. So what a 7-way is going to do, though, it's going to provide you with your 12-volt auxiliary power, your trailer brake output if you have a brake controller, your reverse lights, stop and turn signals, and your tail lights. So you have all your bases covered. In terms of the plug itself, these are really the industry standard. Feels good, has a tab there so you can get your finger under there and get it lift up so you can plug your wiring in. And so nothing really too out of the ordinary. It feels nice, feels well built. And something I want to mention too, if you want to mount yours up like this, you're going to need some brackets. The wiring kit doesn't come with brackets, so I'm using a no drill long bracket that I attached to the hitch and bent down, and then this is a Pollock 7-way bracket. Allows me to bolt that up there. So I think it turned out pretty good, and it's something I would definitely suggest you guys doing as well. Other than all that, though, it's the wiring kit's going to get you going. Let you hook your trailer up to it and keep you safe and legal. As far as getting it installed goes, we kind of touched on that. It's really not bad. You pull the panel down, there's a few fasteners you pull out, and essentially the wiring just plugs right in and hook it up to your bracketry. That's really about it. So shouldn't run into too many issues or take up a bunch of your time, but if you'd like to see how that's done, feel free to follow along. We'll go ahead and hook it up together now. To begin our installation, we're going to be underneath the back of our Kia, and we're going to be working on the driver's side. We're going to have to remove this panel here to get to an electrical connector. And I want to mention, I do have the spare tire down, and that's because I just put the hitch on, and that requires you to lower the spare tire, so I figured why even bother putting it back up if we're going to be working under here. So you don't have to lower it down, but if it's already down, great. We'll be able to put it up at the end, but we'll go ahead and get this removed. To get the panel off at the bottom, you're going to have 3 push pin fasteners, so you can just take a flathead screwdriver, pry underneath the head, and pull it out. There's the last one there, and then if you look up, we're gonna have two 14 millimeter plastic nuts, and you can just take these off by hand, and honestly they'll stay connected to the panel. So sometimes they're kind of goofy. You have to start to loosen them up and then apply some downward pressure on the panel. And we can drop this down and get it out of the way. With that panel out of the way, here's the connector plug that we're looking for. And so there's just a cap on it. We need to remove it. So if you push down on that tab, you're able just to slide that off. We won't be reusing this, so we'll move it out of the way. Then we can grab our wiring harness and make sure the fuse is not installed just yet. We'll do that after we kind of have everything done, hooked up. But you're gonna take the connector in. That's simply just going to plug right in. So I went ahead and secured our module box here. I just zip tied it up to some existing wiring. And then I routed the end of our wire, where the other plug is, towards our hitch. So just ran it along through here and over through there, and just pushed our connector through the bracket that we had already installed to our hitch. That way we can get our 7-way plugged in and mount it up. Before we actually plug our 7-way in, I'm gonna take some dielectric grease and just put a layer on the terminals. That'll help keep this protected against corrosion and things like that. So glob some on there, and then we'll take our 7-way. That just plugs right in. And now that it's connected, I'll just mount it up to our bracket. Now what we're able to do is take our fuse, place it into the fuse holder, we'll close up the dust cover, and we should be wrapped up under here. So I'll go ahead and reinstall our panel the opposite way that we removed it. It's a good idea to test our wiring to make sure that it's working properly. So you can use your trailer. I prefer to use a tester like this though, just because it eliminates the possibility of something being wrong on the trailer side. So I plug that in. We have our 12-volt auxiliary power. We'll use our left turn, our right turn, our taillights, our brakes. Then I'll put it in reverse. And then of course, if you had a brake controller, you could use your manual override to test that circuit, but it looks like we're in pretty good shape as we are right now. And that'll finish up our look at and our installation of the Curt 7-way vehicle wiring harness on our 2021 Kia Telluride.